Buzz, your daily source for all things real estate around Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina. We do a little bit of Southeast. We do a little bit of national news about real estate, but everything's local. So we talk a lot about the Charlotte market. So it is April 30th, last day of the month. So, you know, weather's getting a little bit warmer and the market is getting a little bit busier. And I want to talk about that a little bit. What we're going to talk about this morning, I am super, super interested in. And there's an article that came out, I believe yesterday. Let me see when that thing came out. I'm sorry, it came out in April, and it talks about housing for the 55 plus market. So let's take a look at that article for a minute, and then we're going to look at some data. Okay, so here's what we've got right here. It says that 55 plus housing market dynamic with notable year over year changes. Okay, and this is with McKnight's Senior Living, their website. So you'd think that they would know, right? But I have sold some 55 plus communities this year and last, and have seen significant growth there as well as far as pricing. So let's take a look at this this little article. It says that housing developments geared towards age 55 or more years has seen notable shifts in inventory levels, sales activity, and pricing trends. The CEO and founder of 55places.com said with inventory increasing in some areas and sales surging in others, it's clear that the 55 housing market remains dynamic. They talk about Southeast Florida, where there's significant growth, and that's not a shocker. Average of 14 months in inventory, or MOI. The Fort Myers, Naples area has 10.2 MOI, months of inventory. Knoxville, Tennessee doubled its active listings over the past year. It's just, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of communities being built. It says several markets, including Chicago, Boston, and Philadelphia, have less than 3 months of inventory, making it difficult for buyers to find available homes. They also talk about the Raleigh, Durham, and Charlotte areas where there is increasing demand, and they call these areas key retirement hubs. The demand from out-of-state buyers has tightened the availability of housing options for 55 or more years. Now, here we have Southern Pines, North Carolina, which is not exactly in our metro region, but it's not far away. Saw a 66.7 increase in closings, and California's Bay Area experienced a 41.7% spike in sales activity last year. Prices are climbing in the Northeast. Philly, in particular, saw an 11.3% increase, and Western Connecticut increased by 19.1%. So, you know, this market just sort of highlights what I've been seeing in our local region, which is demand is getting higher, pricing is increasing, and out-of-state buyers are hitting this market. I sold a house to a 55 in a 55 plus community. So that's a community that has deeded, it's on the deed of the property that the homeowner must be 55 plus. So if I wanted to buy, and I am not 55, I'm almost there, but I'm not yet. If I wanted to buy in that neighborhood, I would actually need to have someone else on the deed with me that is 55 or older. Now, because I am over the age of 50 in many of those neighborhoods, I could live in the neighborhood as long as I live with someone who is 55 or older. But there are a lot of restrictions, age restrictions in these deeded 55 plus communities, although that article was talking just about the 55 plus market. What I do want to do today is look at our 55 plus communities. And the reason that I'm doing that is because, you know, there used to be only a handful of them. And now we're seeing quite a few more. Here, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay, so this I'm sorry, I was looking at this one house. Single line display here. Let's take a look at what we've got as far as stats. And all I did here, let me go back and show you. All I did was pull anything that's 55 plus. So it whether it's deeded 55 plus or it's just marked as a 55 plus. And I wanted to show you the map here in a minute because my computer doesn't like me when I'm on video. But let's look at the neighborhoods that we're talking about. Okay. So there, ooh, come on. Don't do that to me. Okay. So you can see the outer corridor of the city of Charlotte, where the 55 communities are. Harrisburg has some. There's some sort of in that sort of Mint Hill-ish, southeast Charlotte area. We've got some Matthews, Waxhaw, and of course, the big monster is down in Sun City. Fort Mill has a few. Apparently, there's some in the Belmont, Gastonia area, and then up in the Huntersville, Davidson. I'm sorry, I am not trying to do this. I'll keep my hands off the mouse. But you can see where these homes are located. They are not far from town, and they are in areas where there are a ton of things to do. Now, right here is a brand new development, okay? And they only show a couple of houses on the market because literally these are the only houses that are up right now. But this is going to be somewhere around an 1,800 plus community. This is in Lancaster, South Carolina. The big one here is Sun City at Carolina Lakes. It is a very, very large neighborhood. And when you talk about amenities, most of these neighborhoods have significant amenities. Some do not. Some are building. Some of these neighborhoods are brand new. But Sun City is sort of the Mac Daddy of the amenity-laden neighborhoods. So there is a golf course within the community. Now that's a separate membership, but it is available. And the neighborhood also has indoor pools, outdoor pools, pickleball, tennis courts, bocce courts, which I love. You can ride your golf cart to the grocery store. There's an activity center with more activities than I can shake a stick at every single day. It's a 3,000 plus home community. So there are a boatload of people that live there. There's a lot of homes that come on the market and go off the market there. So if you are looking at a 55 plus community, that's probably the place that I'll start. Also, because South Carolina there's some tax advantages to being in South Carolina rather than North. So these are all the 55 plus communities. And then as you can see, and here now we'll look at the stats and take a look at like average list price, average sales price. Here we go. So we have, these are the coming soons, average coming soon list price of 505,780. Actives average list price right now at 553,891. Here's the max house at 1.8 million. I'm gonna take a look because I'm just curious. Listed under contract shows 572,062 with a $1.15 million home under contract. And then we have 569,189 for the under contracts, no shows. 1.1 million is your max house there. And then average closed price, and I did March 1 through March 31. We're not through the month of April yet, so I'm still using March numbers. So for the last 30-day or 31-day full cycle in March, our average sales price was 565,332, with 81 of those homes closing in the month of March, and I had one of them. So here's the thing. One thing that I'm super interested in is that here, we look at this chart a lot. If you follow this at all, I pull this chart up all the time because it gives us a really good bird's eye view of what's going on. And we've got the under contract shows and the under contract no shows are very close together. They're within like $3,000 of each other. And then the closed homes are not that far away either. The average close price at 557. This is 569, 572. This is not significant. But what's interesting is we have the actives at 553 right now average, and the average coming soons right now are 505. So there's just a lot going on in this market, but it's really interesting to see that these numbers are fairly consistent. Although we do have a couple of homes above $1 million, so that's going to pop up. This year, I've had a client purchase a home in a 55 plus neighborhood for a little over $900,000. And I've had one that has purchased one over 500,000, and both of them were out of state buyers. So one was from South Carolina moving into North Carolina, and the other one is from Chicago and moving to South Carolina because all they want to do is play golf all day. So this is what we've got for the 55 plus, the deeded 55 plus neighborhoods. Now, I do want to take a look at pricing here just because I want to see that $1.8 million house. And actually that's at Black Mountain. So we're going to move that one out. Okay. So Mooresville is our top one here in the area, 1.15 million. This is, new construction, been on the market 45 days. It was built in 2024, so it's available now. One level living. I like the Epcon homes. I think they're great. And they have really interesting ceiling elevations in this house, but I like these homes very much. And these neighborhoods are a great place to live. This listing says that there's pickleball courts, clubhouse, pool, fitness center, paddleboard launch. So these are great homes. Any of these new construction homes are going to have, a lot of them are going to have rate incentives if you're doing a mortgage. This is a 2-1 buy down interest rate. So it's basically a 4.5% interest rate, and the builder is paying your buy down on that. So it's a popular thing to get into right now. I thoroughly enjoy showing in these neighborhoods. I think these neighborhoods are like the best of resort living that we can have. And especially for folks like my age. And I don't know if I'd ever live in one. I certainly would consider it. I like to be slightly more spaced out from my neighbors than some of these neighborhoods, but at some point I would consider it because I feel like it's kind of like camp. So, there's always something to do, and I think that I would have lots of friends. So if you're thinking about looking at a 55 plus neighborhood, let me know. I'd love to show you what that looks like. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today with the 55 plus stuff, because it's a good, these are good homes. There are some homes I know in Sun City that are 2 levels. The majority of them are going to be 1 level. There's some that have basements, and there's a few in there that have a 3rd level. So those homes range from 1,000 square feet all the way up to, 5, 6, 7,000 square feet homes. Those are a little more unusual. I think you're going to be looking as an average of like 1,800 to 2,000 square feet for the Sun City homes. But if you've never gone down there, and go drive through the neighborhood, it's a monster. You get lost in there. There's several exits, so it's not like you'll get turned around and can't get out. But I do use my GPS when I'm in Sun City because it's so large. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. The 55 plus communities are terrific, and I have enjoyed selling in there. And I think that as the years go by, we're going to see more and more of those communities become popular. And even my mother, who is 80 years old, said, I could live here. And she's lived on a farm her entire life. But she enjoys the amenities at those neighborhoods. So that's all I got to talk about with that. I want to talk a little bit this morning about expectations, and that in respect to a real estate transaction. If you're working with a new agent, and I don't mean new as a newly licensed, but someone that you've never worked with before, I am going to ask you to do yourself a favor and do your agent a favor and set expectations on how you want to be communicated with, and set expectations on what you want your agent to do for you. I talked to a potential buyer yesterday who had unmet expectations from their last agent. And I always like to ask, what do you expect? What do you need from me for an agent? If I'm working with someone new, I just really enjoy having that ability to communicate with my new clients, buyers or sellers, on their expectations with communication. Now, doesn't mean that I don't communicate, but if there is an expectation that I update them daily, then I need to meet that expectation. And I think that where we all get in the weeds is when a buyer or a seller has unmet expectations, unrealized expectations from their agent. So do yourself a favor and tell your buyer's agent or listing agent how you expect to be communicated with. I do call some expired listings, and one of the things that I ask is, what was your agent telling you on your weekly update? And they would say, I don't have any idea what a weekly update looks like. So there is some disconnect and some problems in communication. And if you communicate your expectations up front, it's going to make things a little bit better, or at least you're going to know that your agent knows how you expect communication to go. And if those expectations are not realized, maybe you can move on. But I did want to address that this morning, because that does happen from time to time. And I hate for that to happen, but it does. All right. Now, I did a walkthrough yesterday with a buyer buying in the Waxhaw area, and I want to show you what I saw yesterday. This house is going to need some renovations. The bones are good on it, but there's a lot of like hardscaping in the backyard. I think the seller put in like an exterior kitchen, and it's a little disjointed. But in this backyard, where the exterior kitchen is, there was a visitor, and this is the visitor. So you're talking to somebody, or I've been bitten by a snake before, and so I'm very well aware of. We have reptilian neighbors, and this one, I looked out the window and I'm like, oh, you got a tenant. So I'm sure that that's going to be taken care of. And basically what this is a column where they had put a wood countertop on top of this column, and you can see the holes from the brick. And this wood has kind of bowed up. So this snake is living in the column. And it's just a black snake. They actually are good. They keep pests away. They do freak me out when I see a snake, because I have been bitten by one before. But in a listing, no less. I'll have to tell you that story sometime. But keep your eyes open when you're looking at houses, and wear appropriate shoes. That was my issue with my snake bite. Wear closed-toe shoes when you're looking at homes. I'm very guilty of not doing that, but when you're out and about, especially with vacant homes or homes that have a lot of vegetation around them. Um, just keep your eyes out, and you don't want to run across something that scares you to death or can bite you. This one could bite you, but that's not a venomous snake. But we do have a number of copperheads around, and they're pretty like low key. But um, if you do step on one, though, they'll get you. So just keep your eyes open when you're out showing houses or looking at houses. This is something that, yeah, I ran across yesterday. So I hope you have a really good day. Is it it's Wednesday, right? No, yep. I don't even know what the day is. It's Wednesday. Yes. I just follow my clock on my phone. I hope you have a really good day. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, go to charlottemarketbuzz.com, CLTMARKETBUZZ.com. Let me know if you have any questions about a real estate market at 704-617-0847. Texting is easier for me. I get a lot of phone calls, and somehow I have gotten on, and I know why, because real estate agents, we get so many sales calls, but they have really amped up the spring, and I get a lot of like potential spam. If you get my voicemail, shoot me a text, and I will return that quickly. But thanks so much for being here. It was good to see you. Like and subscribe. I'd love to see you on a daily basis. We are here every day at 9:30 a.m. A couple times I've been in my car, but it's worked. But I'm here and would love to see you. So hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow at 9:30. Take care. Bye.